Thanks for joining us again. We're going into back to Van Damme town. We're bringing Dennis Rodman along though, Jared, which seems like the perfect combination, really. I mean, it was 1997. He was so hot right now.
Yeah.
So put him in a movie.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm a studio suit.
I mean, if Hulk Hogan was a veteran by then of cinema,
You think Dennis Rodman's got a career definitely lined up for after playing, but we're going to cover 1997's Double Team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to prepare for this, I actually listened to We Hate Movies episode about it.
Yep.
Which was highly amusing, so they were not fans. No, they actually said it's a good one-time watch. So, okay.
Not sure I agree, but yeah.
We'll get to that. Now, what have you been watching recently?
What have I been watching?
You would have watched a lot. You were on holidays, is that not correct?
Yes, I've been into a little bit of stuff. Plenty of TV. Still on What We Do in the Shadows and Wellington Paranormal. I wrapped up the last season of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yep,
I'm still working my way through Wellington Paranormal. I also delved back into Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
What?
Which is I don't know if you've seen it, but it was a British sitcom, not a sitcom, it was a British comedy in the mid-2000s that Maddie actually gave me the DVDs of. I hadn't heard it up until that point, but it's a couple of guys from the IT crowd. Matt Berry's in it.
Right.
And essentially, Garth Marenghi's a fucking hack writer in the sort of Stephen King mould who thinks he's king shit.
Okay.
So he's presenting this TV show that was made of his work in the 80s.
Right.
That was, so it's kind of like, you're watching the episodes of TV in the 80s and then Marenghi and the other actors are kind of
It's now.
around it, and his agent, I believe his agent is played by Richard Ayoade.
Oh, yeah.
But his agent gets a role in the show, so he's a fucking stilted actor, and Matt Berry's carrying on all this sort of shit, and it's piss funny. It's basically, if Stephen King couldn't write, but thought he was king shit, and so, he keeps cutting in and saying things like, I know plenty of writers who've used subtext and they're all cowards and all this sort of shit. And the reason I listen to it is because he's released a book. So I grabbed the book on Audible because the guy's reading it in character. Yeah. And the book is piss funny. I mean, we're talking, he's fucking going on this Hellraiser tangent where he's having sex with a typewriter and all this sort of shit. So Garth Marenghi's very, very funny. It was like, it only went for like 6 episodes.
Okay.
6 20-minute episodes or something. So if you haven't checked it out,
Where's it available?
It's a good laugh. I don't know where it's streaming. Maddie actually gave me the DVD, I grabbed that out and dusted it off and had a watch.
Good.
I also, I had to, being that we're always watching stuff that's looking at not the greatest of humanity. I know you like your true crimes, and I thought I'd better fucking go for something a little uplifting. So I watched a bit of Better Date Than Never. Adam.
Better Date Than Never.
Yeah, think Love on the Spectrum.
Oh yeah.
Think Love on the Spectrum.
Is that out,
but it's
is
just
it?
broad. Yeah. So I watched the whole first season.
How was it?
I mean, talking about it's heartwarming stuff. Even blokes like us with cold, shriveled kind of hearts.
Fucking speak for yourself. I mean, I cried at Titanic.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
Don't come at me with that.
Well, your heart's more fucking shriveled than mine.
Mine's cold. It's not shriveled, Jared. It's cold.
But I was like the Grinch. It's fucking, my heart grew a couple of sizes watching it. But
I'm watching that tonight.
yeah, it's gold. It's really good stuff.
Because me and my wife were talking about watching when we saw the ad for it.
Yeah.
Because we like Love on the Spectrum.
It's essentially the same show, but it's a broader group of people.
That's good. What's Better Date Than Never?
Better Date Than Never.
All right, excellent
stuff. Excellent stuff. I also ventured into Velma territory.
Oh, yeah, so did I.
I can't say I was real pleased with it.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I think I'm 4 episodes deep.
I'm 3 deep, and I just can't see myself going any further.
No. I just don't know what they're really going for. Because it doesn't seem like they're fans of Scooby-Doo. Like, sometimes you bring this stuff back and you modernise it and you do, make a few jokes about stuff that's aged badly. And I don't think the people that made this had a fondness at all for. I don't think they even cared to see whether any of the characters.
Well, for me, Jared, the thing that I don't quite understand is you don't have Scooby at all. Okay.
Which I can live with.
I can understand that's fine. You decide to change the characters, their sexual preferences and things like that.
Yep.
Which is perfectly fine. But for me, I think that comedy was just way off the mark.
Yeah, it's not funny. Not
particularly funny, and it's actually a bit more sort of gross.
Yeah. Not to mention Velma is the least likable character in the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly, and that's problematic. Like,
she treats everyone like shit, and like you just can't. I don't know what you're supposed to get on board with. I don't mind Shaggy's character so far. I don't mind Norville so far, but again, I fail to see how it all fits into the Scooby-Doo or the
universe of it, the sort of the mythology of it.
Yeah, the Scooby Gang. I just don't see much of it coming together. I do like the fact that they're kind of attempting to unravel a mystery over the course of a season, which is kind of cool. But I mean, Fred, okay, I can get taking the piss out of Fred, but again, the guy's just, how are we supposed to ever like him?
So how are we supposed to actually come to any place where they're all together?
Yeah, Norville's the only one. Norville's the only one I look at, and I'm kind of like, I like the character. He's not a despicable fucking.
Yeah, but also he's connected to Velma. Yeah, like they actually know each other, and he sort of pines for her and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. The other two, Daphne and Fred, are basically assholes. Yeah. That she wants to take down. So how do we?
I'm kind of like on the same sort of track as you too. Like I don't really have an issue with them wanting to say, okay, well, Fred is now the privileged white character, and so we're gonna
have a bit of fun with it. Yeah, that's fine.
But it's not clever. Like we make a few gags at it early, and then it just becomes really tired really quickly, and that goes for most of the stuff. There's been a handful of times where I've had a bit of a laugh. Other than that, I've gone through 4 episodes, which is probably about 80 minutes worth of TV, where I'm just kind of like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be laughing.
Put it this way, Jared, I cannot see a second season. Anyway,
well, I reckon they're going to get one because people are like, there's a lot of people watching it now.
Because it's considered so bad.
It's a hate watch to a lot of people, and yeah, so.
Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't deserve it because I won't go past 3 episodes. I just can't.
I'm going to stick because I've heard a couple of things that have happened in 5 and 6. I stumbled across them, so I'll stick for I'll probably watch the first season and then I'll make a call on it. But I can't see it going all that well. Like, I mean, I found Mindy Kaling quite funny on things like The Office. Yeah. I didn't watch her series. But she's just really, like, the character is just grating. Yeah. And because you're spending all the time with it, you're like, at what point are we going to start to see some development and she's going to become kind of the glue for the team like she was in the original stuff? As we've said, I don't mind a few changes here and there, but if it's nothing like Scooby-Doo, then why did you fucking call it Scooby-Doo?
We're going way off the track.
Yeah, I've actually read some people suggest that perhaps it was not even that it was conceived as something else, and that it just got sort of squeezed into the Scooby-Doo mythology, which I do have a bit of an issue with.
Well, I don't know how. Look, it's a head scratcher because I thought it might be an interest. Like, I'd heard some bad things and thought I still think maybe this might be interesting. Yeah. And then within seconds, there's a cockroach crawls out, and then a second cockroach comes up behind and starts humping it, and I was just like, we've got off on a bad foot, and it just never solidified. So, yep. What else you got?
In terms of the movies that I've been watching recently, I couldn't say there's many good ones.
Avatar?
I mean, we talked about some stuff.
That's a first no, or you just
not
Avatar.
No, I haven't watched Avatar yet. I'm waiting until the crowd's cooled down because it still seems like every cinema's fucking full of people watching it.
Correct.
So we spoke a little bit about stuff that we've watched on a previous episode, Adam, that has fucking disappeared into the ether.
But someone asked me about that on Facebook. I had to admit that I've accidentally deleted it.
So picking up from where we were at, I watched a doco on Tubi called In Search of All American Massacre, which is the one about the lost Texas Chainsaw Massacre film.
Oh, yeah.
The one that was directed by Tobe Hooper's son as a bit of a fan film and actually had Bill Moseley back. Yeah. How was it? The idea is good, but the doco's very ordinary because essentially it's one guy who does a bit of stuff like he buys a couple of things off eBay from maybe it was a cinematographer or something like that, buys some of his belongings off eBay to try to see if he can find a reel of the film. spoiler territory, you could see it coming a mile off, but he doesn't actually find the film. And so essentially you got these three friends talking about it, one of which I thought was, worth talking to. One guy in there is just like, oh, can we not talk to him anymore? But outside of that, they get an interview with one guy who was in the film.
That's it.
And we make a 60-minute doco.
Jesus Christ.
And so I'm just like, you've got nothing.
Half an hour.
Yeah, you got nothing to make here. I was intrigued, and I was they did, dug up a couple of interviews and stuff that were on the website for it and whatnot. But there's just nothing there. It's just like you start a doco, and it just doesn't go anywhere. Like at the end of the doco, you're in exactly the same place as you were at the start of it. And so it's really, unless it's, the interview stuff wasn't bad because the guy's got a few insights, but essentially you're crafting a whole 60-minute film around the interviews with one bloke, and it doesn't really work. So that was a bit of a letdown. I mean, I could see it coming before I even clicked on it, but I persisted. Couple of comedies at him. For some reason, I watched Grandma's Boy.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Is that how you would...
Couple of laughs, but it wasn't top shelf material. I then went on to Planes, Trains and Automobiles because you mentioned that.
Fucking classic.
Look, it was alright.
I love it. And you know why? John, you really see the best of John Candy, I think, in that movie.
He's pretty funny.
He's funny, but he's also, he sells the dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of times. He really nails that. Especially that sequence where Steve Martin rips the shit out of him in the hotel room.
Yeah.
What is it? You think that's bad? I've spent time with Del Griffith. Yeah. Shower curtain ring salesman guy. Whoa. And he just sells that whole thing of like, I like who I am. Like,
Yep.
I think he does a fantastic job.
Yeah,
I think the movie is quite funny. It does run out of... It loses some momentum afterwards. He gets picked up by his balls.
Yeah, which you enjoy thoroughly. I don't know why. I laughed.
I laughed, yeah,
quite a bit.
Yeah, of course you did.
Okay.
Why do we laugh at such fucking frivolity?
Because it's the peak of comedy, Adam. Someone getting hit in the balls. I went back to the Batman. I watched the Batman again.
Yeah, solid picture.
Loved it. I think I might have enjoyed it more this time around. Colin Farrell.
He's excellent.
Just awesome in there. Stumbled onto a bit more Disney Plus horror, or available on Disney Plus. I watched Grim Cuddy. Essentially, it's that. You remember that internet meme, that Momo thing that looked like kind of looked like a cross between a human and a bird with massive eyes and whatever. Essentially, it was turned into like one of these.
I must have missed it.
Essentially, it was turned into one of these like internet urban legends,
Sort of like
challenges.
Slender Man.
A bit like Slender Man, where you got to do this challenge or Momo's gonna fucking appear and whatever. So the idea of the film is around that. Grim Cuddy is essentially Momo in this thing, where it's an internet legend, and it starts off alright. There's a couple of scenes where you see the thing and you're like, oh, we can get some mileage out of this. A couple of creepy scares and stuff. Very quickly veers into just ridiculous. The biggest issue with it is that it kind of centres all this stuff going on, and then starts to talk about. It goes into the parents and their role in it, and I was just kind of watching it going, I don't know what the messages are going, like, what message you're trying to put out here, but if it's what I think it is, it's fucking ridiculous, and it kind of undermines any of the scares and stuff going on the screen.
Is anyone of note in this?
No. Actually, no. Her name was, what was her name? Sharon Sossamon? Or something?
Sharon Sossamon.
Yeah, she disappeared for a while. She plays the mother.
No.
That's the biggest name in there.
Okay, right.
Couldn't recommend it. Could not recommend it. I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once.
How was that?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It is a little weird. It's a bit out there.
Worthy of Oscar?
The performances are excellent. Like, the acting performances all round are really good.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely out there. It's a little bit off the wall, but the messages in there are really strong. As I said, the acting performances are really strong. Very enjoyable. I watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Again, sort of humouring family members that are into the Harry Potter stuff at the moment.
Gobbledygook.
The first one wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, from what I'd heard. So, that was all right. I didn't mind it so bad. Again, quality actors help.
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne's very good. The story's just okay. Ezra Miller in there reminding us that they could be quite a good actor if that's there wasn't so much other stuff going on.
Remember, mate, just say sorry.
Yeah.
just fall on your sword, okay?
Yep.
Because you'll be back in business.
Correct. I got onto a bit of In Search of Darkness 3.
Yep.
Because it is so lengthy, I did not finish it, but I got about 2 hours in. And I subsequently watched Without Warning.
Oh, yeah, I want to watch that. It's on Tubi.
Yeah, well,
It's not good?
Well, I found it on Plex, and the
Plex?
it's another freebie.
Plex?
The transfer was awful. It looked like a VHS that someone had like fucking taken to with an eraser or something.
What?
But there's a
Plex?
cut on YouTube it was far better.
So the one on Tubi's no good?
I didn't see it on Tubi.
Oh, it's on
I didn't
Tubi?
find it on Tubi.
Huh?
The Tubi one might be alright.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Because I think it was another one that was picked up by Shout Factory that Tubi tends to get.
Yeah,
so
I
if
bet
that's
you
the one you're
yeah.
watching, it's probably pretty good.
Look,
it was okay. It was okay.
it reminds of... they talked about it in the terms of Predator.
Yeah,
Very
it gets
much
a bit
like
slow towards the middle, but the beginning and a little bit towards the end are quite good. And obviously you got guys like Jack Palance and Martin Landau doing some good work in there.
Crusoe.
It does get very sluggish though at times, but enjoyable. Outside of that, Adam, I had a couple of absolute gems on here. I spent a bit of time in Diesel territory, and I went through. I think we mentioned it last time, but I finished the whole Riddick.
Yeah, whole Riddick thing. Last Witch Hunter?
I stumbled into Last Witch Hunter. I haven't really kicked it off yet.
Oh.
But the last one for me, Adam, Miami Connection.
Miami Connection. I've thought that was made by the same guys who made Ticket to Hawaii, but you set me straight on that. I believe it's an Asian film. Is that correct?
No. It was made in the States.
Okay.
The lead actor is a guy that came from Korea to America. I believe he's like he owns a Taekwondo school and does a bit of motivational speaking.
Is it pure shit, this movie?
It's hilarious. Like, it's so bad, but it's one of those ones where it's just consistently got things that are making you laugh. And I mean, these five guys that are all black belts in Taekwondo all come together and happen to play in a band together. They all live together. And I watched it with some riff tracks commentary too, and they kind of consistently kept bringing up how they never seem to be wearing shirts and all this sort of stuff. And
so is it worth my time? Because I believe it's on Shudder.
Yeah, it's worth your time. It's hilarious.
Okay, good. My time's precious, so don't steer me, wrong
Your
there.
time seems very precious, Adam.
Well, when I get to what I've watched, you can see.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
So is that the last of your
That's it.
stuff? All right. I watched Curtains on your recommendation.
Yep.
I had it on Blu-ray.
Yep.
Quality transfer. You know what?
Still very dark.
Still very dark, yeah. Curtains is good. I think
it's got some really good things about it.
It's kind of different and a little bit weird.
The setup's really cool.
The fucking hag mask is...
Hag mask.
Yeah, right up there.
Creeps the shit out of me.
Yeah, and all those little dolls. They keep coming across dolls just standing in the middle of the road and stuff like that. Some of that stuff is really good. And the whole idea that this director's kind of manipulating all these women and stuff, and then she's got that one woman in an asylum. I love the method, but let's not check into an asylum and not be able to check out.
Correct.
Let's have
I need some assurances.
I
need someone else in on the plan because I don't trust you. But anyway,
I watched Antlers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
It was one of those ones that sort of thought it was kind of deep and meaningful. But it was just kind of boring. It was boring.
Okay.
I had some good actors in there, but other than that, it was a bit of a bore. I watched, as I said, Velma.
Mm-hmm.
I watched In Search of Darkness 3, the entire 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
Look, if there's a 80s horror movie out there, I would know about it. Now that I've watched all three of these.
Yeah, it's in depth.
documentaries.
And even the third one is great stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the films that they're going to are much more digging.
Yeah, and they
I
had
mean,
some
when I
interesting
can
stuff.
find when I can find 4 or 5 of them on Tubi, that's telling you how deep they're digging, really.
But they had some interesting things, like some stuff about John Carpenter and Wes Craven.
Yep.
They have some stuff about Screaming Mad George.
Yep.
The effects man. So, you know, there's some interesting
Bit of stuff
angles.
about Charlie Band.
Charlie Band's in there many times. And the last one for me is actually non-horror, but we went to the Sunset Cinema last night and watched A Man Named Otto with Tom Hanks.
Yep.
Which was really good. Yeah. So, that was it for me.
Not as good as mine.
Oh, no, sorry.
My
Hang
collection,
on. What am I talking about? I've watched the first 3 episodes of Last of Us.
Ah, yes.
Fucking outstanding.
Yep.
It's really, really good. If you're a fan of the game, you'll see what they've done. They've adapted it very well. They've taken some angles on it. And the 3rd episode is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because it takes a small character from the game and takes it spends an entire episode with them. And it really, really works. I thought it was fantastic. And, my wife, she's sort of been up and down because she's kind of like, it's about zombies and stuff, and, we've seen all this before and everything like that. And she was like, that episode, that 3rd episode was the best one of the lot by far. So it really, really resonates, and I think it's a really, really good series so far.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I've taken a somewhat risky approach to try and bank up a couple of episodes because everyone's loving it so much. All the bloody sites I read regularly are I'm dodging spoilers like Van Damme in a fucking Coliseum full of landmines at it.
I'm not dodging them like Ricky Rourke in a Coliseum full of landmines.
The thing is, too, because I've played the game, I don't think there's a lot that's going to surprise me, but I do know there's a couple of liberties that they've taken and characters they've fleshed out a bit. So.
And I was with you when they announced Pedro Pascal as Joel. I was kind of like,
yeah,
I don't really see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it. He doesn't seem to have that kind of grizzled, world-weary type of thing that you would expect. But he's perfect.
Yeah,
he's perfect for it. And he nails it because we get that bit at the start when he's sort of younger.
Yep.
And then we come forward, and they've done a fantastic job. And I think the acting is outstanding, but the writing and stuff is really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to the next 6 episodes to finish it up.
Very good.
But that's it for me. All right, Jared. Let's start putting a basketballer and a average action star together.
Let's come up with as many basketball puns as we can possibly.
You possibly
can.
That's
okay. They did it for us.
Exactly. But we take a break now. And here's the trailer for 1997's Double Team.
The new and improved Dennis Rodman.
I'm the man, baby.
He's kinder. He's gentler.
Airball.
He just has one simple rule.
No refs. Now that's what I call hang time. Sorry.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Does your hair change color when you sweat?
Dennis Rodman.
No hurt jokes today, okay?
Double Team.
Toodaloo. Toodaloo.
Rated R. Opens everywhere April 4th.
Double Team, 1997. Directed by Tasu Hark, and who directed Knockoff. It was another Van Damme picture with Rob Schneider. Christ almighty, the bloke was just diving for anybody, wasn't he?
Anything will do.
Produced by Mushi Diamant, who produced the Hurricane Heist. Eh?
Classic.
Story by Don Jacoby, who wrote Death Wish 3. And the screenplays by Jacoby and Paul Moniz, who wrote The Quest. I know, fucking hell. Oh God. It wasn't on fucking steady ground. But I will say this, some of the stuff I read was Jacoby had actually written a script about the colony.
A good
side
script,
of it, yes.
According to JCVD.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Yes.
With a grain of salt on that one.
Wouldn't know a good script if it fucking bit him in the ass. Anyway.
Well, at the very least, towed him up there.
Yeah.
It stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Jack Quinn, Dennis Rodman as Yaz, and Mickey Rourke as Stavros. It had a budget of 30 million and made 11 million. Shit. So this was kind of the end of the Van Damme his wave had kind of crested and was coming down now.
I mean, he rode that once it had crested. He kind of rode it a long way after that.
He did.
Yes, I know what you're saying. The popularity had started to wane.
By then. Well, the idea of these ass-kicking sort of martial arts films that he was making just weren't cutting it. Now the trivia is interesting, Jared. The next movie that Van Damme was going to be in after Double Team was an action horror called Abominable, which was described as people lost as predator in the snow, in which his character would have to save a group of people lost in the snowy mountains from an abominable snowman.
I was just about to say, I hear Sasquatch. I mean, could that have been the mythical film that we're looking for?
Oh my God, Jared. Between 1995 and 2000, director Peter Hims and Rennie Harlan were involved in the project, but due to poor box office results of Van Damme's films, Universal Studios cancelled it. What are you thinking? I mean, fuck, that is ripe. Harlan had done Cliffhanger. He would have been perfect for that shit. Right? God, fucking hell. What was the one that we were talking about, Stallone? What was that called again? Gale Force.
Gale Force, yeah. Gale Force and Isobar. He was attached to both of them at similar periods.
Correct, yes, Isobar.
So he's just the bloody kiss of death for a reasonable script.
Sly comes on board and everyone goes, fuck. This is going down the tubes quick. Okay, alright. This film is ridiculous. It squanders a really cool idea. The colony stuff, which we'll go into more depth as we go along, but that stuff was interesting. That was where the film needed to set most of its action.
Yeah, I think so.
But it decides that it will magpie that little bit, and then we'll surround it with Van Damme and Dennis Rodman in some kind of weird buddy sort of action mashup. It doesn't work at all.
No.
And basically it's just sort of this globe-trotting spy crap that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I didn't really know what was what as we went along.
Yep.
And Mickey Rourke's solid as a villain. And I'm going to leave that my thoughts on Rodman out, because we're going to open with that, Jared. But Van Damme's taking himself way too seriously here. Like, way too seriously. This is action junk. I've told you about action junk. This is action junk.
Well, it's on the junk pile of action junk. Really.
Yeah, it's a lower tier of action junk. It's really forgettable. And, it was always good when John Woo came into America. Other Asian directors came after him. But there's nothing particularly outstanding about any of the action scenes here.
No.
So I don't really know what this guy's resume and pedigree was.
He did a bit of stuff with Jet Li. I think he did the Once Upon a Time in China movies and things like that.
Yeah, it doesn't translate whatever it is, because the action is very, very stale.
Yeah, for the most part. Absolutely.
I gave it 2.
2?
2 out of 5. I was probably being a little bit generous.
Yeah. I went for 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was fucking having a fever dream or something. Like, we were just straight into it was just lunacy from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that to a point, but yeah, as you said, most of it wasn't all that entertaining. Rourke is the only one I could say probably earned his paycheck.
I wonder what his paycheck was, a $30 million picture,
Wouldn't
so
have
he's probably
been
got a couple of
large.
million though.
But yeah, the acting all round is pretty subpar. As you said, the idea of the colony, and it's kind of not, it makes sense when you read about the original script being about the colony, and then it being rewritten and all the cartoonish elements and Dennis Rodman and all that stuff being added. It feels like it goes to another movie for a stretch there.
Yeah.
We have this opening part with Rourke and Van Damme, and then he goes to the colony, and then we come back into the other movie.
It feels like the colony's been just dropped in there.
Yeah, it's kind of wasted. So I don't know. I was not
The
enjoying
best
myself.
action stuff and the best plotted parts are in that colony section.
Yep. And obviously you've got to have, I'd imagine in the original script there was still something like the child and the wife and child, or something like that that he's intending to escape back to. But it seems like they expanded on those parts and shrunk the colony parts, which I'm assuming in the initial script was kind of the other way around.
Yeah. That's how I would have thought, or would have assumed.
So yeah, I couldn't get past 1.5. Mate.
Well, I guess
I did
you
not
shrink-
enjoy myself.
You shrink the colony parts and you bring in Dennis Rodman.
Sound business decision.
All right, before we even get to the pros and cons, Jared, I'm putting it right out there. Rodman, pro or con?
Con.
Con.
Yeah.
I actually went pro.
The
The guy's not an actor's bum. Right?
I would like to check your current
Faculties.
mental state and stability to be making such a call.
We
That's
haven't got time for psycho evaluation at this stage, so you're just going to have to go with me here a little bit.
I'm going con.
I think the bloke is not an actor's ass.
No.
He's physical. He's got physicality on his side.
Yes.
The fight scenes work out well with him because he's big and
But he
rangy.
barely does any.
Yeah, I know, but when they do
He's so
that...
big and rangy, all he did was throw a couple of kicks and then there seemed to be a lot of wrestling.
Yeah,
I
kept
see
throwing
you know
people
your
at the wall.
judo well, Dennis.
But he's kind of got a presence about him. And
Yeah.
I found him he's at least having some fun with what he's doing.
I mean, look, he's having fun, but I could be having fun in a Hollywood picture and I would be saying I'd be worth watching. That's where we're at here because, I mean, I would go as far to say, 60% of his dialogue is basketball puns?
Yeah, I know,
Would
but
that
that's
be
not
fair?
his fault, is it?
Well,
I
push back, Dennis. Push back. You're a big man. I'm sure if you say to the director, I'm not saying that, you don't say it.
Fuck, the guy was in the throes of a back-to-back, fucking 3 championships in a row.
I know. Yeah, I just couldn't. Con. Give me Hulk Hogan instead.
Oh, piss. Imagine putting a pair of them together.
Yeah, Jesus.
Talk about a fucking acting black hole.
I mean, we weren't that far off. They were wrestling matches together. So
Were they?
yeah, remember when Rodman and I think it was Rodman and Hogan in his Hollywood Hogan phase wrestled fucking DDP and Karl Malone?
What?
Yeah, remember that?
No, I don't remember that. Fuck, I don't think anyone else does either. Is that when Hogan had black?
Yeah.
Side of his ears was black.
Yeah,
The centre was blonde.
Yep. Because that was the rugged kind of, the rugged Hogan look.
And look, surely Karl Malone's got Rodman covered.
Oh, Karl Malone had he would have been in the gym fucking non-stop at that point in time. He was certainly in good nick.
Big unit. Okay, look, let's get to the likes here. Mickey Rourke, by far the best actor.
Solid.
Tries to bring a little bit of tries to bring something to character.
Yeah.
As best you can in such an underwritten villain role.
Yes, and can act, which is, it sounds silly, but most of the actors here can't seem to act.
Yeah, exactly.
And Adam, it's worth mentioning that it was in the period just before Mickey started getting his head mistaken for his backside.
Yeah.
Is that your face or a rogue piece of fucking scrotum skin? I don't know. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Mickey, the whole movement of putting passing your scrotum on your face, it's not real, right?
I mean, I'm not.
No, you know what?
I'm not one to take shots at people's appearance very often. But when you do that to yourself and you go under the knife
When
and
you
then tell us that you never did, I'm gonna have at it, Mickey.
Did he say he fucking never did?
I'm pretty sure he said he's never.
Mickey.
Was it him? Yeah, I think he might have mentioned that.
Well,
he didn't have as much
Mickey, get off the fucking drugs or whatever you're on because, I thought your face was palatable. Jared.
In this, he's still a good-looking bloke.
Let's not go that far.
He still passes as a look. Obviously, he's taken some hits, but you look at him and you say, handsome fella.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And in his heyday, why he fucked around with his own face is beyond me.
I've got no idea.
Because in his heyday, he was very handsome, and you would think that he would grow into that like Brad Pitt or one of those guys has. That they still look like they used to. They're just fucking more older and more sort of regal.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's fucking doing.
Poor old Mickey looks like someone's taken to him with the smudge tool.
Mickey.
He looks like a bad Photoshop of himself.
Mickey didn't have a strong enough manager to say, listen, mate, no more injectables. Right? But Rourke can act, and he
can.
gives you enough. He tries to sort of give you something about the villain being kind of almost misunderstood a little bit.
Yeah.
And not such a bad man in terms of how he deals with the kids and all that. And the fact that he's been destroyed by Van Damme and co killing his son.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's pretty standard action setup.
Yeah.
You know, the whole... But, you know, I could have gone with that. The whole Van Damme accidentally killing his son to I'm going to take revenge by going for the same sort of thing. Like, that all works perfectly fine.
He also looks... he's in ripping, Nick.
He is. He's been hit the gym.
He handles the martial arts sort of stuff pretty well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
So
he did a bit of training beforehand.
Overall, he seems committed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what he thought he was going to be in. Because I would not have committed the time and effort.
Well, he thought he was going to be in the colony, Adam, and then he turned up on set and said, "What's Dennis Rodman doing?" Is he on another bloody
He tapped Van Damme on the shoulder and
Vegas?
said, "What the fuck is he doing here? Is he on a bender or something?"
Yeah.
Van Damme said, "No, mate, he's acting with us."
He's in it.
Okay. I love the fact that we start the film at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I believe Van Damme is driving a truck full of plutonium. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Like he's at fucking NASCAR.
Yeah. Exactly. He's being chased by motorcycles, causing
driving
explosions.
the thing like a lunatic. Now, maybe I don't know a lot about this sort of stuff, but my assumption was you couldn't just do that with plutonium.
No, look, I don't know.
It's a highly flammable material.
And looking at the truck, I mean, whoever designed the truck in Tango and Cash is looking at that and going, "Tone it down, dude." Like, it's all ridiculous. I mean, I just could not stop laughing when he drives past and clips the bloody fuel tank, and next thing you know, the fucking truck is just blowing up.
And then he jumps over a train.
Yeah, something like that.
God, that truck's not getting over that.
No,
Come on.
I wouldn't have thought so.
God, although I must admit, I loved it.
Yeah, look, it was at the point where I was like, okay, well, this is the right level of
Action jump.
lunacy. I can handle
That
this.
was the perfect amount of action jump.
Yeah.
There are a couple of really cool shots in there. Transitional shots that I liked.
Yeah.
One in particular is Van Damme on the ground in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then it changes to some slats on a window blind.
Yeah,
and they turn up and he disappears. His face disappears.
Yep.
And it goes into the next shot. I thought that was really cool.
I actually thought some of the stuff in that hospital section was some of the better work in terms of that. There was a lot of both of them being shot in the shadows and that sort of thing. I thought that was one of the points in the movie where I thought, the direction here is not too bad. We're shooting them pretty close. The action stuff there isn't too bad. So yeah, I would agree with that.
The colony, Jared. The colony. All of that stuff was intriguing.
Yes, the
whole idea that you have been killed and rubbed out and
yeah,
essentially put into witness protection as a CIA spy, and you're still working, you're still looking at terrorism and stuff and sort of providing advice under the shadows, and then the escape. I actually think the escape works really well.
Yeah, all that stuff's pretty good. I actually think the idea of the colony is a good base. Although I could not stop thinking about the island of people who knew too much in The Simpsons. And I was expecting the bubble to stop him on the way out, the little seed of, why did you think that would stop him? Shut up! That's why. One of my favourite scenes from The Simpsons. But yeah, I've got a couple of massive question marks. And I think, again, it's a result of that they've just kind of plucked that out and expanded the stuff around it. But yes, the
as a result of script revisions.
Yeah.
Say.
Yes. But that stuff in itself, pretty good. And I could have done with a lot more of that.
Yeah, agreed. I actually didn't mind the whole shaving off his fingertip and all that stuff. To be able to... I thought that stuff was really, really cool. I also love the idea of the unknown guardian.
Yeah.
If you escape, there is somebody who's after you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know who it is, you don't know you're being tracked.
Again, underutilised.
Underutilised, yes, very much so. And I actually think that his escape is the most exciting part of the film.
Yep.
And the best directed part.
Yep.
The action stuff is pretty good.
For sure. Although, when he gets out and goes back to his house, they destroy that fucking thing.
I know. That is the worst action scene in the movie.
Everywhere. I did enjoy the fact that they just went all out on the house, and it was, by the end of it, it was just in flames. There's shit blowing up. You know, there's a grenade in the pool.
Yeah.
Yes, silliness, but still in the realm of this is what I'm here for.
Well, honestly, you'd probably go down that route, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you need to go down that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not concocting the scheme that they concocted, but I probably think that he's coming home, and that's where we're gonna find him.
Oh yeah, we'll run into him in the at his home place.
Yeah.
Okay, the punch up in the hotel room with those two dudes. The little guy with the flick knife.
Yeah. In his toes.
Solid. So I like that.
Yeah, it was okay.
That's pretty cool.
It was okay.
It's pretty well done.
But I think that's where that's where Sweetheart's
He's at.
got he's cut his teeth, right? He did a lot of the Jet Li wire work and all that sort of things. So
more
maybe
of
it
that
should have
then.
been more of that.
Yeah. I thought that was a reasonable punch up.
Mm.
And then for me, the final kind of confrontation in the Colosseum. A fucking thing full of a minefield, a tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all happening in there. A punch up between him and Rourke.
Yep.
You know, good. Oh, that's what I was after. And I even enjoyed the switcheroo on him having stepped on the mine. But the cross
that was
moved.
all right.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep.
I mean, the logistics of moving those crosses without anyone seeing you, highly debatable.
Yeah, and again, I've got a couple of things to mention about stuff that goes on there where I was just kind of looking at it going, what? But
overall,
again, though, that was the part of it where I can shove the stupid shit aside because you're entertaining me, and this is what I'm here for. That was okay. That was where Rodman was doing less talking and more running around and trying to kick people and stuff.
My thinking though is that I just needed a little bit more in the Rourke Van Damme face-off.
Yeah,
because I needed Rourke to touch him up a bit.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
Well, could Rourke? I mean, maybe they should have just. I look at this movie and think the whole Rourke Van Damme stuff. If that had have been in it, we're not dealing with Dennis Rodman. We're just making the Colony movie. I'm in.
Yeah, I am
I'm
too.
all in on that.
I think it would have worked out really well. Because then you've got Rourke in the background while Van Damme's in the colony trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, and he's trying to get back to his kids. His daughter, his wife and their newborn baby, and Rourke's got them covered. It makes more sense. I'm not quite sure where Van Damme came in. Rodman came in.
Yeah, I think it was just trying to cash in on some notoriety.
That was it for me, from the likes. Did you have anything else?
Very much it for me.
We stretched you as far as we could.
Yeah. I'm padding. Okay. I'm padding in the likes now.
Okay. Dislikes.
Okay. Not a hint of fucking setup or restraint or...
No.
What happened to the days...
Why bother?
What happened to the...
Why bother?
I want to know what happened to the days when JCVD was just a lonely drifter on a quiet farm. Like...
I mean, those fucking heady days are long gone. Who was picking up Jugs magazine? He was on the run. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Still get his Jugs subscription, but he's on the fucking run. I mean, that movie is cool.
Look, when you're a lonely drifter, that's probably the best time to have a sticky bag around.
That movie's plot was the Shawshank Redemption in comparison to this. I mean, Jesus.
Pretty much.
This movie, the plot mechanics are just fucking ridiculous. None of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
When they come up with some crap later on that I'll get to, involving Rodman and some monks in Rome. I was just, Christ.
Yeah.
I just could not have it. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. And that's where, that's where one of Dennis's downfalls of the movie is. It's the same for Van Damme. Dennis only seemed to have one level. He was kind of yucking it up and being silly all the time. In amongst those monks, it was just like, now we've taken it to the extreme, and it's just not good. Especially when one of the monks seems to be accessing internet porn.
Yes. What was that? Oh, that whole scene is. I'm still fucking slightly baffled.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about the director cutting his teeth. But some of the flourishes are just terrible. Like, he goes to slow-mo and then quick cuts while it's in slow-mo.
Those stroby kind of
What
cuts where it just
is
freezes. I didn't like that either, yeah.
Like, where do you get that? And why do you go to slow-mo in sequences where Mickey Rourke's just talking magnetically in Van Damme's ear? Like, so we go to slow-mo. I'm like, why?
Well, you know, that era of Rourke, I'd probably go to slow-mo if he was whispering in my ear too.
Look, I'll tell you what. Mickey's face may have been palatable, but you do go slow-mo on it. Like, you don't fucking slow. Like, because then you can see the creases, Jared.
Yeah.
And nobody needs to see that.
No, I don't think so. I also thought JCVD's chemistry with his wife is, I would describe it as Padalecki.
Oh, no doubt. Like, JCVD and most women in the films he's in, he gets given like, they don't build a lot of character with the wives and that. I think the best one's probably Time Cop, where that they do kind of build a bit of that because they have to, because she comes back into it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we open with her, they're in the pool and he's like, "You are beautiful," and all this sort of wank, and then fucking boom, suddenly she's fucking kidnapped 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Or he's killed or whatever. I mean, it's just, the chemistry level is, I mean, his chemistry with Rodman is no good either.
No. Yeah, anyone's chemistry with anyone else in this movie is questionable.
I noticed we also had Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was his handler. The guy.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Right, how he has fallen.
Yeah. There's a fella, speaking of the pool, the guy that comes and starts, laying down the law while he's at the pool.
Yeah, his acting is just atrocious.
Oh, I was going to say, like, how do
is he?
How do you stand out with a poor performance opposite Van Damme? I mean, that's a gimme. That's an open layup. And you fucking missed it.
No, be fair, damn. I mean, fuck, how are you the worst performer in the movie with Dennis Rodman in it?
Well, I mean, but this particular guy, like, when he was talking, he sounded like he was doing a fucking Troy McClure impression.
I think it was Dub.
Jay Benedict, I think his name might be.
Benedict, holy shit.
I could be labelling the wrong person.
I'm going to assume Jay
He comes in, he
business.
starts going, "You want personal, I'll give you personal."
Oh, it's not about personal, it's about politics. Fucking look at that guy, he's got a tie.
Oh my god.
That's Hollywood for you. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because we're used to Jean-Claude just doing his usual kind of stuff, and JCVD's performance was tolerable, and Jay Benedict was looking like a schmuck out there.
Jay Benedict. I hope we've labelled the right guy.
I'm thinking we have.
Yeah, okay. The dialogue is a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Like, all of it is just big globs of exposition with not much else.
Yeah.
The basketball puns. I mean, Jesus, Jared. Yeah, the guy played for the Bulls. I get it.
Enough. Oh, there was also one about the bad boys too.
Oh, yeah. I don't play for the bad boys anymore.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, let's get off the bench. A good defence is a great offence. Or something.
Yeah. I think after about 3 lines, I was like, we know he plays basketball. Can we get past that?
No, obviously we can't.
We couldn't for the rest of the movie. As I said, I estimated it about 60%. I may be overdoing it there, but he's...
And even when they jump out of the plane together, they, with no parachute, they end up in basketball shape. Some basketball-shaped floating device.
Come on. Stop it.
And even right at the end when he turns around and he goes, "I wonder what the fine will be. Because I blame this on me." And I was just like,
Stop. We get it. Yeah, you've just reminded me about it, but fucking Rodman, con. When he first finds Dennis, what's his character name again? Yaz. When he first finds Yaz,
who does your hair? Zig Ritter.
As soon as we get into the club, I'm like, okay, it's Dennis Rodman. They're going to go all out. They're going to run with this. Then I see what appears to be someone in like a gimp suit in a fucking tank, scuba diving in a tank or something. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I saw that. And I thought, what kind of club is this?
I
Even by sort of BDSM standards,
Yeah, I was kind of sitting there thinking, I wonder what they do when it's that person's break time. How do they keep the illusion up here?
Come on out of the tank. You've got lunch.
Half hour, no more.
Yeah, half hour, no more.
You're back in the
Take
tank.
some deep breaths.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, we talked about Van Damme's chemistry with his wife, non-existent. But their relationship and their character as a pair is non-existent. So we haven't, like, it's almost impossible to believe that he really is that steamed to get out of the colony. Because I don't know about you, Jared, but the colony seems like a pretty fucking easy gig.
Yeah, the colony looks pretty good. For 3 square meals.
3 square meals. I'm in paradise. And all I got to do is sit at the chair and go,
yeah, lounge around by the pool, get in a meeting occasionally and make some fucking half-assed assessment of what's going on without any kind of background. And
exactly.
Everyone goes, good job.
Yeah, good
Let's
job.
go back to the pool. It's happy hour.
Yeah, I don't know why I'd be rushing back.
Although they seem to have the peak of technology, but it couldn't distinguish when it was just a flimsy fucking piece of skin on an eraser.
Yeah. The eraser obviously had all the lumps and bumps of a finger.
I've got a few things to mention about the colony, but we'll kind of unpack them later.
Okay, good. Because look, I glossed over that because I was looking for good things, so I let that go. But Rodman is introduced in the first 15 minutes and then basically missing for about 35 minutes
or something, which is what should have been the good part of the movie.
Well, essentially that tells me you didn't need Rodman. There was no point in having Rodman.
Yeah.
And again, I think you're right. Some studio idiot goes, "Oh, Dennis Rodman's hot right now. He's not an actor's fucking asshole, but we'll put him in a movie."
Yeah.
Like, none of that makes any sense.
No.
I had to laugh though at the start when when Quinn does take that truck.
Yeah.
There's this quick shot of like inside the CIA headquarters. There's this ridiculous exposition of 2 agents going, "Quinn is in. Wow.
Yeah.
If he gets this out, his resignation will be final." I was just like, oh my God.
That's how you handle it. That's just organic.
Subtle. I mean, I know how that's what I do when I'm in the office.
Yeah, that was shocking. That was
So forced.
There was so many of those little bits and pieces that just came off so badly. We also had, a staple of the era, some typical homophobic comments from JCVD.
Oh, yeah.
He seems to have a lot of them. He's really
what does he
cool
say?
with
Something about...
Doesn't want to know about your sex life or something like that.
Yeah, what does he say initially?
Was that following up the Bad Boys comment or something like that?
No, it was before that. But yeah, he says, "I don't want to know about your sex life." Fucking hell, mate. Why? Why do you have to go there?
He just had to squeeze it in there. And also, I had another comment on Sweetheart's directing. I mean, fucking 20 minutes in, you would have sworn the bloke was Dutch with all the fucking tilting that was going on of the cameras.
Yeah, he thought he'd bring something new to the table when he crossed over.
Yeah, we're filming in what are supposedly different parts of Europe, so why not go with a bit of Dutch tilting?
Exactly. Whereas, see, I prefer my European directors like Paul Verhoeven. Who just come over with the same fucking outrageous style they were dishing up in Europe.
Blow everything up. This is in my dislikes, but I fucking laughed at it very heartily. Van Damme dodging some bullets with what appears to be some kind of capoeira. I mean, interesting choice. I mean, even though if you decide to do that, I still think they come pretty quickly in decision making.
I think they come quicker than doing like a fucking, I don't know, like the Russian dance, whatever they call that shit, where you kick your legs up.
Bit of Cossack.
Fucking dancing around like a Cossack, for fuck's sake. Come on, JCVD. Don't fucking have me on.
I mean, but there's the time in between when you hear the gun go.
Yeah. By that time, a bullet...
it's already hit you before you think, Cossack, whack, I'm down, dodged it, you can't get me, can't hit a moving target.
Not moving anymore, you're fucking flat on the deck. No, the thing for me, Jared, was... My favourite bit, that it's in the dislikes, but I pissed myself laughing, is it goes 3 years later,
Yeah.
And we come to Van Damme at home, and the phone's ringing. He's in the pool. And Van Damme comes running out to get it with what looks to be a fucking leave-in conditioner in his hand.
Yeah.
He's thinking, I'm like, what the fuck? This is your lowest ebb, mate.
Is that when he starts going,
I tripped over your cow.
Cow is in the way or something like that? I'm like, God, what are we... Yeah.
And then the missus, see, they use that later. She goes, she says
She
to
starts
Rourke.
giggling. My
just-
husband thought it was a cow. And all that. I mean, I got the sense very early there that we weren't on stable ground
No,
here.
we weren't.
It was just going in all sorts of directions.
Correct.
Talking, still hovering around probably a couple of minutes past Capoeira Cossack sort of combinations going on. I'm still a little confused how we moved directly from a fun park to a maternity ward. Did I miss something there?
I think
It looked like, at one point, it looked like Mickey Rourke, I can't remember what it was he leaping over the fucking cha-cha or the sizzler or something, and then...
there's a fucking hospital directly.
he leaps over and next thing you know, we're in a maternity ward. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How do we get here?
You know what I like too? They assemble this team to take down Stavros, and fuck, honestly, their performance in capturing him could only be described as a shit show. Like, the whole thing is a disaster. And I'm just like, these guys aren't spies. I mean,
No.
one woman says she can shoot the dick off a hummingbird from 500 miles away. He's immediately shot through the
scope.
by Mickey Rourke with like a pistol.
He's out here playing point blank. He did it pretty quickly there. Yes, it was a bit of a shit show. Obviously, didn't get the job done. That's why you end up in the colony. You silly bastard.
Yeah, but everyone keeps talking about how Quinn's the best. I mean, if you watch that performance, you don't even take him to the colony. You just drown the prick on the way
I
over.
mean, is he still your best shot? The bloke hasn't done it in 3 years. Clearly, from that, he's rusty. We figured that out.
Yeah, not just fucking rusty.
It takes a while to get back in the game there.
Jesus Christ. Also, Mickey Rourke seems to be wearing Marty McFly's shoes from Back to the Future too.
Maybe that's how he got so quickly over the... He
leapt, hoverboard,
he leapt over the sizzler onto a hoverboard. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the zipper. It could have been the zipper. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but I'm with you. What the fuck? How did we get to a maternity ward?
Yeah, I still don't know. And it was fucking abandoned. They seem to be the only two people in there.
It was Halloween too.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one around on Halloween night.
Correct.
You'd think that place would be teeming.
Of course.
Michael Myers be bumping into people left and right.
Yeah, he would have been. That would have been. Should have been one of his highest kill counts.
Yeah,
We're still
he
pretty
probably
busy.
would have said, "Fuck, I need to get out of here."
Yeah. Someone's going to see me. I'm going to leave the colony a little bit. I had another something to say there, but the one thing I will say about it here is the interlocking lasers. It was kind of funny.
What, the water laser?
Yeah. But I was thinking to myself, geez, it must be a bastard if you choose to go fishing off the island. Have we got any fishing rods on the colony? No, they're all fucking cut in half.
Yeah. Well, I drilled in a big one, but the fucking lasers came on the last and chopped it off.
Chopped it off. They cut me line. The setup of the trap at his house, I could not stop fucking laughing. You knew what was going on, but the actual fucking bomb being a fake of his baby. I couldn't stop laughing.
JCVD.
Like, you think about it, and that's one of those things where you're like, this only makes sense if you're imagining it from the sense of we're looking at all this through a fucking film camera. Because if they all know he's there, as soon as he enters the house and he's in there, you've got him. You don't need a fucking bomb
in a baby.
There seems to be other ways that you could have got that job done. Like,
correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of... It was... Again, that part I did find entertaining, but I couldn't stop laughing at that.
I got one for you. What was going on in the training montage?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's lifting that bathtub. He's humping that bathtub like this. I mean, He's in absolute. He's got his hands up behind his head. He's going. I'm just like, JCVD, take it easy, mate.
And it also brings up that the security in the colony's obviously pretty lax from the get-go. They just trust that the lasers are going to do the job and don't fucking bother with anything else.
You know the guy in the room next door rang up room service and said the fucking guy next to him has ripped his butt out of the wall.
I knocked on the fucking door. All I could see was him fucking hanging off the top of it. It was laughable. It was like, fingerprints, lasers. Other than that, you're left to your own devices here. We're not going to look. We're not going to check up on you. What's that bucket hanging off your fucking door there?
Were you kicking a bucket full of rocks? I mean, surely someone's asking questions. Why have you got a bucket full of rocks? But, Jared, is that Hamilton Island?
It looks like it.
The colony's just fucking.
I think Hamilton Island's got tighter security on the premises. Maybe doesn't have the lasers in the water.
Yeah, that's right.
Adam, my favourite part of the movie. My absolute favourite part of the movie is when we roll up on Van Damme dressed as some sort of alternative cop.
With those glasses, fucking nose ring,
the shaggy hair.
And he's wearing Chuck Taylors and stuff.
Yeah. Again, as soon as I saw him and he had the
is he wearing shit catchers? He's also wearing shit catchers.
I think so.
Fucking hell, Jean-Claude. You stick out like a fucking sore thumb. I mean, you're in Rome.
Yeah,
okay? Jesus Christ.
It was so funny because he looked ridiculous, but also that was the way that he was going to stay under the radar.
Yeah.
We think
I like Queen.
Yeah. Someone on the scopes there going, we seem to have a early 40s-ish, late 30s, early 40s-ish man in what appears to be a shit wig.
You know what I was thinking? When Mr. Burns comes in The Simpsons and goes, trying to get money out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Me and my fourth form chums are...
Yeah. Hello, fellow students.
That's right.
Yeah. It's... again, I couldn't stop laughing. Not long after that, I think, is when we get the cyber monks, Adam.
It's the most preposterous idea in the entire movie.
Oh, hilarious.
But before that, there's Rodman engages in a bit of a blue with a bloke in a taxi.
Yeah.
And the guy shoots over the taxi, and all I could think about was Frank Drebin and two fucking bins.
Yes.
just leading out 2 metres away, go. It reminded me of that shit. I couldn't stop laughing. But then we immediately go into Cybermonks. This movie is trying to tell me that Dennis Rodman befriended these blokes
via the internet.
Hey, I love it. I love when they send an email.
Yeah.
It looks like it's on a Nokia tablet or some shit. I love it.
Great stuff.
I mean, it dates the film almost immediately, followed by the monk going,
of course,
we'll catch up, my brothers, and the monk goes, I'll send you an email.
Yeah, but it's not that, the thing is, it's not that dissimilar from something like John Wick and Lawrence Fishburne's crew, a network of people you don't expect to have the info. I mean, that could work, but the fact that he goes under the church or whatever, they're fucking...
That's the only way you get to the Colosseum, through the fucking maze of tunnels under here.
They've got they're typing on their keyboards, they've got the thing in the middle that looks like the fucking thing the Riddler had on his head in Batman Forever, and I'm just looking at it going, this is how you age the film. Like, you watch John Wick in 10 years, I don't think you're going to look at Lawrence Fishburne's group and go, oh gee, that aged really badly. It's going to look... Because they created a world...
where this kind of thing can happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's why John Wick works, is because in the first John Wick, we only got the Continental very briefly.
Yes.
But it set the tone.
We started to expand a bit.
We started to expand in the second one and things like that. So, this is trying to do that without spending any time.
Yeah.
And as you said, Cybermonk's looking up pornography. Look, it's
and fist bumping.
Yeah.
Like
Look,
that.
there's a fucking... there's a fine line between that and being acceptable. So we probably shouldn't have had that. But it boggles the mind that this character of Rodman's has these type of connections. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't really establish that he is anything more than just some guy you get some guns on.
Yeah, there's no. That's part of the the lack of setup. He's just you meet him as the guy who can get all this shit.
He's like Q. He's sort of like Q.
Yes, very much so. And it doesn't work for him. I think you need a little more. So if you're going to go to the lengths of putting him in the movie as much as you did down the back end of it.
Yeah,
but
and also
anyway.
it seemed to be a bit of a shirts off thing too in the back half. Rourke's rolling around shirtless. Rodman decides to go shirtless with 10 minutes to go. Like, I'm like, well, all right. JCVD surprisingly keeps his shirt on.
Yeah.
He goes early shirtless, but then he keeps his gear on.
Yeah, normally he's the one kicking things off.
Oh yeah, he's the guy who gets in there first.
Yeah.
That comment he makes, oops, airball.
Dennis, fucking stop. Is that the part where he's also talking to the skull just before that?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, sorry man, we really need to do this or something, and then kind of waits a second and he goes, thanks. I was just like, God,
Dennis.
Who told you to do this? I mean, even Dennis Rodman's agent reads this script and says, no thanks, we'll wait for a better opportunity.
Simon Says is just coming around the corner.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, we wait, we hold. The last big one for me is the whole Coliseum blows to absolute shit and these three guys cower behind a Coke machine and survive. The Coliseum wouldn't have Coke machines in it for starters, would it?
Well, maybe.
I couldn't get in there when I went.
If it's got a fucking mainframe underneath it, I'm sure they can get a couple of Coke machines.
True.
In there,
Well, there's a fucking an elaborate tunnel system that gets anyone that wants to.
But I would have thought,
undetected,
regardless of whether the Coke machines were there or that they were not, I'm not sure the Coke machines survive a fucking explosion like that.
No, the Coke machines are made out of fucking plastic and things like that. I suggest that they don't survive that.
No, I wouldn't think so. But also, can I just ask how... So we've got these secret tunnels, and I get that Rodman is like Q, but we've got these secret tunnels. Oh yeah, the bridge is going to be cut off. There's only one way to the island, the bridge is cut off, so we've got to go to the secret tunnels. Rodman still somehow manages to fucking procure a dirt bike from somewhere.
Yeah, we have no knowledge of where he got that. We also got no real knowledge of how he got to the Coliseum, because hadn't he fucked off though?
I thought he was in the tunnels with him at some point, but...
Oh, no, he was, yeah.
But the only thing I'm led to believe is that one of fucking Stavros's men turned up on a dirt bike.
But don't you just show that outside the Coliseum? There's guys on dirt bikes, and then Rodman beats the shit out of one of them. And
yeah, because the way it's played, again, it just comes out of nowhere and it looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, correct.
But then again, it is in the midst of a fucking tiger being unleashed in the midst of a mano-a-mano battle around landmines in the Coliseum. So maybe I shouldn't be picking nits at that point.
Yeah, perhaps not, Jared. Perhaps no nitpicking is required. You said you had problems with the colony. Have we got to all that yet, or I
was saving that for last.
My last thing too is that Dennis Rodman seems to be rapping on the final song.
That was mine too.
I was like, what?
I had a deep fucking sigh of relief, and then I heard this dance track with him fucking mumbling over the top of it.
Was he doing some musical work? I'm
sure
it
was his voice.
Oh, I'm positive it was him.
But it was also, he was mumbling about a woman, like what he says is a woman with the family jewels between her legs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just like, what? You caught me off guard here, Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis. Music's not in your blood either, mate.
Yeah.
Acting's not in your blood, neither is music.
No, I just kind of... I didn't know what to do at that point. So, the colony, my issues. Yeah. First off, okay, I like the idea of the colony, but it requires a little more than what we got in the movie, because all I could think about was, if these people are so skilled... And some of them, because, the thing was they're so skilled and so dangerous that we have to contain them.
Yes.
Well, JCVD had lived peacefully in society for 3 years, we're led to believe, so if he is so skilled yet not dangerous, and why is he not better off being utilised by the agency out in the field? They seem desperate to use him out in the field with coming to get him from his peaceful lot.
Well, that's the thing. They bring him back into service to catch Stavros, even though he's been allowed to retire.
Yeah.
But, so what? You're allowed to retire if you want and live a peaceful life, but if you don't want to retire, you go to the colony.
Well,
are you taken to the colony?
They didn't... I thought it was part of he's dead, and he's in this thing of, you're super skilled, but you're dangerous. But that doesn't fit for him. And then when we get in there, we've got all these other agents living with criminals. So I'm like, okay, we need a little more here, because this doesn't make a lot of sense. Because now you're solving fucking these crimes and these things. I don't know. Is the agency, any of these agencies that employed you fellas, accessing these services? Because it appears that they are. I don't know. And then they kind of, there's part of it where they frame it of, it's the price that you fucked up with Stavros. Well, there wasn't a price before that. As far as I'm aware, like, I couldn't get why he was in this class of too skilled yet too dangerous.
Yeah.
Is it the knowledge that he had? Is it, you know too much? So you served us well, but we can't have you out
in society.
And we don't want to kill you. So your fucking trade-off is you're in the colony.
Well, I think that's the better way to handle it. Is to say that, yes, we cannot allow you to retire.
Because you can have that. Yeah. That's the danger for him.
But what it should have been is a switcheroo, Jared. He does his final job, and he thinks he's going to be allowed to retire, and he's bloody taken into custody and sent to the colony. Because we don't allow you to retire.
Yeah.
When you are a government asset like this that has all this information, CIA, you're doing black ops and stuff, you do not get to live in society. You have to live here.
And that's what sort of fits in when he goes and says, it's you, it's this guy, it's that guy. But then the intriguing part of all that was, it's the crooks too. But we only use that with one guy who initially I thought was his guardian because we fucking see him underwater. And then it's just like,
why did he put a plastic bag over his head too, underwater?
Yeah, there's probably a better way to get it done, but obviously wouldn't have access to.
Well, there is no fucking oxygen, so what's the difference?
Well, that's I don't know. I just
lost there.
Yeah, a bit lost.
So that was your problem. That was your big problem with the colony.
Yeah, I just felt like they didn't explain why he needed to be there well enough.
No, they didn't explain nothing. About anything.
Correct. Maybe that was all in the script, the good colony script.
I get the feeling that probably not.
I'm going to go looking for it. You reckon it's floating around?
Yeah, I reckon.
The original one? I wouldn't mind having a look.
I'd just like to see where they went. It's clear Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, they went on.
It's clear that 40 minutes of Dennis Rodman was
full fucking head of steam down Rodman Road.
Yeah, Rodman Road. Which isn't paved.
No.
It's not paved.
You're fucking barely able to stay in your vehicle. It's fucking thrashing around.
So 40 minutes of Rodman is definitely added.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll find that I would guess that the Stavros stuff is still part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's his motivation to get revenge.
But I reckon it's the stuff in there and the explanations around who's there and why they're there, I reckon that would have been fleshed out.
You would hope.
Then again, if it's from the writer of Death Wish 3, maybe not.
You could be severely wrong in that respect.
Yeah. I could be holding out fucking false hope here.
Yeah, you could. Have you got anything else to offer?
No, that was it. That was really my only big issue around the colony stuff. And I mean, once I'd heard Dennis rapping for a little bit, I
want to know what that song is.
Off.
I want to know what that song is. I'm going to look it up when we finish here, but honestly,
please don't.
The bloke has just look. I gave him a pro, but you've probably talked me around all the time.
That was easy.
Well, I mean, at least as I said, he seems to be having fun with what he's doing. He shouldn't be doing it, whatever it is.
No, he shouldn't be.
And his acting performance is kind of very one note, I guess.
It is.
But it's because he's not an actor.
I get what you're saying. He could have got away with that. His role should have been smaller. they could have still had him as that guy, but just have him cropping up a couple of times when JCVD needs weapons. Don't inject him into a third of the script at the end. Like,
yeah, I would agree there. And I don't think you put a novice actor like Rodman in a film with a director who, although not a novice, not a well sort of seasoned person who handles like the studio system. So you're not dealing with somebody who knows how to look after these sort of films and get an entertainment value out of it.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with Dennis Rodman, who doesn't know how to act. Well, fuck, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
I mean, if
you're the one that was saying it was a pro half an hour ago.
If I had to compare his acting to his basketball game, it was his shooting. Yeah. Not much of a shooter.
No.
The big boy wasn't somebody who
didn't put up many.
No. But I kind of see why they went that way, because Van Damme was waning as a viable box office star. So they probably thought, put him with Dennis Rodman.
Could we have just done it with something other than this script that I'm kind of intrigued by now?
Yeah. I think that they made some just bad decisions there. All right. That was Double Team. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast. Reach out to us if you want us to cover any sort of whatever film you'd like. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for details of the next one we cover. But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.